So here we are again, Kim.
Yeah.
And your journey has been amazing. And I want to continue with a lot of the iconic theater companies. And I want to start in New Jersey, if we could, at Crossroads. And I want you to talk a little bit about your experience there and some of the work you did.
Well, one of the another great joy that I did was directed by Ricardo Khan and written by Oyamo, who was, to me, a phenomenal playwright, Oyamo. And it was a adaptation of, it was a musical, and it was about the devil and taking her soul, Euripides, and oh, it's a very famous, you know it if I say it. But anyway, we did an adaptation of that.
Yeah.
And it was a musical piece. And it's so funny. I'm glad I didn't really have to sing or anything because I'm not a singer. And the little dancing I had to do, I got through. But I got to play two characters in that. Mariella, who was the spawned girlfriend.
Yeah. Now, was it Black Orpheus?
Yes, Black Orpheus.
Yes.
Right. It was Black Orpheus, and it was an adaptation set in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And that was rough getting that role because they wanted somebody else, but she couldn't do the dialect and all of that.
Yeah.
And my casting directors, the black casting directors, Maria and Ellen.
Right.
They really fought for me.
Yeah.
But I also turned it out.
You did.
In the audition, I really did.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you gotta go home and work on it.
Right.
And you have to take chances. And you have to follow your instincts. You know, let them tell you, well, that was good, try this, or whatever.
Exactly.
But go for what your instinct tells you. And then, so I got that. And that was, I was Larry Marshall. I was with some great actors.
You were. And it was a beautiful venue.
They had my back. They were so supportive.
Yeah.
On everything. So I played Mariella, and then I played, I can't think of the character's name, but she was like in the underworld.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I had this up on the catwalk as the woman in the underworld. I had this great scene where I had to run the whole catwalk screaming like, the whole, oh my God. So I got to play this evil, and then I got to play this mean-spirited Mariella Saucy, whose heart was broken because Orpheus went for Euripides.
Right.
And she was sweeter and kinder, and I was loud and boisterous. That was great. And in that one, we got the cover of the famous theater magazine.
Yeah.
And that was, it was great.
Yeah, and it had a lot of buzz. You would see it in all of the periodicals and the.
And you know, you remember? Did you ever see me play the Black Russian at NEC?
No.
Yeah, I played Leslie Lee's piece. Where I played the Irena, the Black Russian.
Okay.
And who directed me? Barbara Montgomery.
Yeah.
And you know, Barbara was my idol from when I was, just first starting out, because I used to go to La Mama and see her do stuff, as well as NEC.
Exactly.
She's another character actress, great actress.
Yeah.
Great actress. Anyway, she directed this, and first thing I did was go get the arias and the dialect, so I could get used, because it was opera. I was a wig mistress in an opera house here in New York. But I came from Russia, and I was a Black Russian. And the history was that it was in the 1930s when some of the blacks went from the cotton gin and all of that.
Exactly. Paul Robeson illustrate a lot of those people when he visited.
Right. It was from the guy who did the cotton gin, the famous guy historically. And they were professors in college. Right. And they went over. So one of them stays and hooks up with the Russian woman, and so had me. Right. And then we, after my parents, I came here, and I was a wig mistress, and I was being haunted by the memory of my sister in the piece. Right. So it had a lot of. It was really great for a black that's why Leslie Lee was such a great writer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
we didn't make this up. Even though the story was a little bit made up, but it was based on
reality.
Real people, real things that happened historically.
Right.
And so I had my, I can't do it now, but I had my Russian dialect.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, I was with one of my favorite actresses, Marjorie Johnson.
Yeah.
She played the opera singer, the French opera singer, and I played her wig mistress.
Right.
And yeah, it was a great piece. You know, it was a great piece. I remember I didn't get the award that year because Ipatha was around the corner on Broadway with Charles Weldon doing something.
Yeah, yeah. Now let's go to Brooklyn on Fulton Street.
Oh, well.
At the Billie Holiday Theater.
Well, way back then at the Billie Holiday, my dad took me there. I guess I was 11. And that's when the Billie opened.
Yes.
And we had to sing, we sang his song, Congolese Children, Jump In and Play It, you know.
Yeah.
That was my first, like, you know, but I always like to show off, you know. Not all the time, but I did, you know, like, I didn't mind, you know. Even though I was kind of shy, if you could believe it. I think
I've never seen that side of you.
I know, but growing up, I was, I had to force myself. Like if I went out with my dad, I was always so nervous.
Yeah.
We were young, go out to different people and whatnot, and maybe it was insecurity, who knows, but I was very introverted, and the acting helped me. Yeah, yeah. You know, and then of course when I became militant, that shyness was all over.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But Billie Holiday, yeah, Marjorie Moon is a phenomenal human being, and 40 years. And I did, I think, at least 2 or 3 plays out there.
Right.
And yeah, I did this one play that Miss Jeanette had produced with another company. And so the whole company came to see our version of it.
Wow. And
again, you know, 3 times in my life I've gotten, well, maybe more, but from people I really want to say.
You wanted to hear it from, exactly.
Yeah, like, oh God, she told me when I came over, she said, you were great. And coming from her.
Yeah, you were talking about Debbie Allen.
Debbie before, and then Miss Jeanette.
Yeah.
And then, what's his name? The famous black playwright. Anyway, he came up to me and he told me that was the best he saw those characters in 30 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, A Son Come Home by, that's the name of the play, A Son Come Home by Ed Bullins. Yeah. You know who Ed Bullins is?
Yes, I do.
Ed Bullins.
Yes, that's right.
He was, and it's so funny because when I was working as a receptionist at the Public, he was right in residence.
Right.
And that's when I first met him. And we would just talk and kick it and spend time. I never knew that, you know, maybe 10 years later, I forget how long later it was.
Right.
That I was going to be doing his piece.
Yeah. Now you did another piece at the Billie Holiday Theater. I remember. It was sort of like a Harriet Tubman character.
Yeah, that's the one. I can't think of the name of it, but that was the one that Miss Jeanette came down.
You were
to
phenomenal in that piece, Kim.
Yeah,
we
were slaves.
That's right.
And one of my sons didn't want to escape.
He didn't want to escape.
Because he was, you know, he was making all the babies. They treated him a little bit special.
Right.
So, you know,
That's right.
You know, some slaves don't know this.
You were great. You were great in that piece of work.
You make me feel so good.
No, you really were great in that. And so I want to move to 5th Avenue and 125th Street. Barbara Ann Tears Theater, the National Black Theater.
Oh, that was not too long ago.
Right.
That was like
a couple years ago.
6 years or something. Yeah. Because when you said that, I was like, I never worked there.
Now you did.
I did. I worked at the theater, but it was Take Wing and Saw. It wasn't for Barbara Ann Tears.
Right. Yeah. But I brought her name up because she started the theater.
Oh, sure, National Black Theater.
The National Black Theater. You at the National Black Theater.
Oh, yes, I was.
Doing a play
by Carter. And that was another one that was...
Pechang,
Pekong.
Pekong,
exactly. That was another one that was set in a mythical Caribbean
That's
island.
right. And the reason why I brought up that play, Kim, is because you seem to have this thing about playing roles, these mystic roles and these characters, and where did that come from? What made you be able to play these kind of roles, these mystical roles? Because when you take the stage in these parts, you just take over the entire stage. It could be 100 people on the stage at the same time, but it seems like your character just rises above it all. And I just want to try to ask you, I wanted to ask you, where did that come from? If you are you conscious of that?
I think some of the best actors read a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember one time running into Sam Jackson on 57th with Weldon, and we went back up to the hotel, and Sam had his hotel table was full with books.
Yeah.
And he would be reading 2 books sometimes at the same time.
Wow.
And I find people who read a lot, it really helps you. I don't read as much as I should be, like I did, but growing up,
yeah,
I read a lot.
Yeah.
I was so curious. I always say that I'm a curious human being, you know. And I read a lot. I was very much into religions. And my dad, you know, that was the one thing. He always brought us books. He taught us a lot about Africa from young.
Right.
And the different empires. And I was interested in religions.
Right.
So I read a lot about the different, from, you know, the Buddhism, Catholicism,
right.
Yoruba. I mean, I was interested in all those things. And you know, that was the time too, numerology, astrology, all that stuff.
Exactly.
But, you know, I definitely know I have some, I think at one time I had more psychic energy. I think the mind gets so crowded with stuff. But there were a lot of times, like, I dreamt stuff and it happened when I was younger. The imagination and the creativity. So I think reading all kinds of things is very important. You know, and of course, you know, the fact that you go to a university, you got to read all kind of stuff.
You have to read a lot of
white,
stuff.
Black, green, you know.
That's
and
right.
I remember coming up, I loved Greek theater.
Yeah.
I loved Greek theater. You know, it was just, the women were so strong.
Right, and a lot of those things come out in you when you're on stage. In a lot of different roles. I've noticed that over the years. But I want to come full circle to Kim Weston Moran as director, producer, advisor, the person who is behind the scenes and putting these programs together. I want you to talk about that, Kim Weston Moran.
Well, for the last 10 years, I'll say 10 up until 2019, I guess.
Yeah.
I was doing a reading series called Potpourri World Women Work Series.
Right.
And the whole idea was to do international, global women, and new works by global women. As time went on, I did add one male, as long as the play was about a woman, you know. But that was hard, because it's funny, I've written grants for other people, but I never only one time I wrote a grant for myself is when I did the second Black Theater in America conference at Medgar Evers.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get Ed Bullins, and I had to write it 3 times for NISCA, but they wanted to give me the money, but I asked for 40, I ended up getting 4,000.
Yeah.
But it was fine, because it covered his airfare and his hotel. So we wanted Ed to be here. Everybody else was pretty much from the New York tri-state area.
Right.
But yeah, I really like the other side.
Yeah.
And I could say as much as, almost as much as, I would say as much as performing, you know, although performing is my first love. I really like making it happen and putting it together. And I really, you know, when I was younger, I always had a lot of male friends who were writers.
Right.
And I really loved the whole writing concept and building a play and developing it. And I just thought that, you know, it would be good to have a woman's global, because, you know, we're more, no matter what's going on in this country or in this world, people are more alike than they are different.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
And I really was interested in wanting to show that you could see any play and whatever they, you know, I was taught the more specific you are, the more universal it is.
Right.
And it's true. So you can see a play that takes place with an Arab or Indian or African American, and depending, you know, what's going on, you can relate no matter what nationality it is.
That's right.
Because it's family,
right.
emotion,
It's
or whatever.
It's humanity.
It's humanity, and it's universal.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was hard, you know, because most of the money came from me.
Yeah.
And I didn't have no money.
Yeah.
So, but I just believed that I should pay my actors. I didn't pay them a lot, but I just believe that if you put your time in, because I'm an actor,
right,
you know,
right.
and I know that's how we make our money. So if it was nothing but covered your lunch for 2 or 3 days, and
that's
then
right.
when we did the reading, I always had munchies, and
that's
know,
right.
And
that's
that was
right.
my concept, was to have munchies with wine and stuff,
yeah,
for the
yeah.
audience. Come see the reading and make it like a, you know, like a clutch. And it's funny because the first 3 years that I did it, I was up at the drama bookshop, and then I did it all in Manhattan and Brooklyn, and it went a lot better. I used, I think, a little more name actors, which helped a lot.
Yeah.
And nobody else was doing it like I was doing it at that time, because my concept was that they had 2 times to do it in the month.
Right.
So they would, you know, do it the first week, then they come back the 3rd week after they got the critique and did some rewrites, and then do it again. And then if we really liked it, then we would take it to the 3rd step and really develop it, and then try to have a backers reading for it.
Right.
And some of
right.
the plays, they didn't go like big places, but they went to different theaters,
exactly.
local theaters.
Absolutely.
And so I knew I was doing something good, but I could never get a crew to work with me.
Yeah.
It's like they wanted to be producers, but they wanted to be there opening night. But I'm the one that was like on the computer for 3 months before by myself doing everything.
Exactly.
And because I didn't have a big budget, and I'd rather pay the actors.
Right, right.
And I'd love to have had somebody to do my flyers, but I ended up, you know, I don't.
You do
I didn't do great graphics, the great, you know, creative graphics, but I did them creative enough.
They were good enough to be part of.
And I developed the theme. So I had a style.
That's right.
You know, each
That's
be a
right.
different color in the pictures and all of that.
Right.
But I was a whore for creativity.
Yeah.
I wanted to create.
Right.
You know, whether it was acting, whether it was directing, whatever.
Right. Right.
I love making it happen.
Yeah.
You know.
And you've made it happen over the years, but finally, Kim.
I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead, Kim.
I became a member of the, and I went out of my mind, the Wild Cafe Theater, which is the oldest woman, and at one point it was gay, now it's LGBTQ, but it was the oldest women's and gay theater, and you didn't have to be gay to be part of it.
No, absolutely.
You know, it was a great opportunity.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because you paid what you could. They had a certain amount, but it wasn't like.
And I remember visiting you there down on the Lower East Side.
East 4th Street.
That's right.
And I did the Diary of an Afro Goddess. I produced that.
You sure did.
You saw that, right?
Yeah, I sure
With
did.
Cherie.
I sure did.
Cherie is back in Atlanta, but she's doing comedy. She's been writing, making her own films, still auditioning, you know. And that was it was a hard experience, but it was still great to do it.
Yeah.
You know, Diary of an Afro Goddess was a great piece to me.
Yeah. You know? So finally, Kim, we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
What will the theater look like going forward?
Well, like they do in the TV shows now, they have a limited amount of people that can come. I think that's going to be, but there are people who are doing a lot of Zoom.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I've seen a few.
They're starting to do films again and TV. I don't know, because they're saying this thing may not be finished until June 2021.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, especially Broadway must be really suffering.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
But all theaters are suffering. All
live
concerts, clubs. You know, but like with the Zoom, with some of it you could get away with it, but theater is different. You know, it's nothing like that. Well, I shouldn't say that, because all of them, live music, all of that is special, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always special to see it live and experience it live.
That's right.
I really don't know. I mean, I have some ideas that I have a playwright that I'm working with. She's 80-something years old. And I've been working with her off and on, I guess now for 5 years. And she wrote this piece called 1969. Started out as a play, and I told her to make it a movie. I know I'm getting on her nerves. She made it a screenplay. Now, I saw this, what's his name? 50 Cent did this TV show for life. I don't know if you saw that. And I said, oh, this 1969 would be great as a TV. She said, wait a minute, listen. I said, I know, but I'm just trying to look at the possibility.
Right.
It's nice to have a one-shot movie, but it's even nicer to be on every week.
Right.
You know, for a season or 2 seasons. But I want to go to LA. I had made some arrangements within the pandemic, but I'm looking to get some people. I have the actors in mind.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start approaching them soon. I just got to figure out, I got to find the right contract to make with the writer, and I have to hurry up and do it.
Yeah.
I mean, she's in good health,
But Kim, it's so good to talk with you. I feel good that you feel optimistic about what the future is going to look like. It's been a pleasure being your friend for all these years. It's been a joy watching you work on stage, watching you work on film. It's watching you work as a director and a producer. It's just been an amazing journey, and I'm so glad that I was able to be along for the ride.
Yeah, I forget how long we've been together. I mean, we've known each other. I forgot you knew me from Out of Control. Isn't that funny? I keep thinking it's Don't Explain.
No.
But it was Out of Control.
Absolutely. And Kim, it's just been a wonderful journey. I can't wait to see what the future holds for you. And it's just been a tremendous joy, and I want to thank you so very much for your time.
Well, thank you for asking me. I mean, it helps if maybe that was the psychology behind it, but it was helpful to talk and review it and think about it, and you know, in retrospect, you know, yeah.
But thanks so much, Kim.
Thank you very much, Kevin.